Good morning, good evening, Mr. X's class. So this is going to be a jump forward in time from my other videos. Most of them were made in 2015, and we're in 2019, 4 years in the future. We went through the time machine. So because this video never got made in 2015. But I'm ready to make a video today for the word subordinate. This is a word for English 4. Subordinate has two meanings on your card, but I actually want you to add one more. I put here add to card because I think it's in the dictionary that we usually use for our definitions, and it makes sense. We need to use this one with our sentence to copy. The sentence to copy that we have for you doesn't really make sense with definition 1 or 2, so it's more with this one. So everybody's going to need to change their card a little bit. Sorry about that. I'll try to change the card for next year so you don't have to do that again. But so let's go through the definitions. So we have two adjective definitions and a noun definition. So the first adjective definition describes a person. And it says having less power or authority than somebody else in a group or organization. So like at a lower level. In a company, in an organization, in the military, anything where there are levels, higher levels and lower levels, and higher levels have more power, and lower levels have less power, a hierarchy. In that situation, subordinate can describe a person who is at a lower level. For example, definition 1, as a teacher, I am subordinate to Maestra Olivia. So she's, officially her title is not principal anymore, but she's my boss. So I'm below her, she's a higher level. I'm subordinate to her. Related definition is the second definition, a noun definition. That is a noun, so this is describing, like see here it says I am subordinate to, and then I say who. So it's not saying I am soy eso. It's like this is an adjective describing. So subordinate to somebody, it's describing. So whereas this one is a noun. And so this one is a person who has a position with less authority and power than somebody else in an organization. So it's very similar. It's just this one, it's I am Maestra Olivia's subordinate. So I guess in Spanish it would be como un subordinado de Maestra Olivia, algo así. So then it's like, maybe that will make more sense. How is it not? This is a noun, un subordinado, and this is soy subordinado. They really are saying the same thing in two ways. It's just they're different parts of speech, but they're saying the same thing. I'm at a lower level than she is. She's at a higher level in an organization. Then Spanish, it says subalterno subordinado. Then we have one extra definition that should be there. It's not there. So this is the one I want you to add to your card. Another adjective, and it says less important than something else. And when you say something is less important than something else. So I could say, so I have an example with grammar, which is the one you need to copy. It's not only grammar though, so it could be something like, if you're thinking about different priorities in your life, you could say, watching TV is subordinate to my homework. I want to watch TV, but I have to prioritize homework. So therefore, watching TV is less important. Menos importante. So you could say subordinate means less important than something else. So this is like comparing. And usually you would say to after it. So actually, I should make a sentence with that. One more sentence. Don't really have much space here, but so I'll put one more example here. Watching TV is subordinate to my homework, or to doing my homework. And that means it's less important. So you can use that in an example sentence. Then another way we need to talk about how we use this is in grammar, because we're in English class. In grammar, we can talk about subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is a less important clause. So remember what a clause is. A clause has a subject and a predicate. So it's something that could be a sentence. Could be a sentence. And sometimes you just have one clause by itself. That's called a simple sentence. And you put a period, and that's okay, you can do that. Other times, clauses are connected to other clauses to make different types of sentences, bigger sentences. In this school, we usually use the word dependent and independent to talk about clauses. But there's another way to talk about the exact same thing. Synonym is to say subordinate instead of dependent. So a subordinate clause, this is the sentence that you copy. A subordinate clause is a group of words with a subject and verb that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. So that makes it less important than the rest of the sentence because it can't stand alone. So if we look at an example, and it's also called a dependent clause. So if you learned it, like I think in English 1 they teach it, it would be dependent. I think you learned about dependent and independent. So this is an example. Because I like pizza, I like to make all my examples with pizza. Because I like pizza, I eat it every day. So in this sentence we have how many clauses? How many clauses are there? Two, because a clause is a subject plus a predicate. So here we have, first subject is, what's the first subject? I. And then the predicate, like pizza. Here we have another subject, I, and predicate, eat it every day. And then the conjunction is the word that I like to tell people conjunctions are like glue. Como pegamento, they glue the sentences together. So the conjunction here is because. And because is called a subordinating conjunction, because when you use it, you make a subordinate clause. That's where it comes from. And this is subordinate because if you look at it, like if we look at this right here, I eat, the only thing here is, the only problem here would be the word it would have to change to pizza. But if I change it to pizza, if I said I eat pizza every day, can I just say that by itself? Yeah, I could say I eat pizza every day. That makes sense. It's a sentence. It's independent. It's by itself. It's fine. No problem. I eat pizza every day. You could say, oh, why do you do that? Okay, this one you could say is less important because this is the main idea here. And this is just like explaining more about it. Why? So the main idea is that I eat it every day. And then the why part is less important. It's more explanation. So that makes it subordinate. And also, why we say it can't stand alone because it has the word because in it. So if you try to put it by itself, if you put a period there, that's right. If you try to make it stand alone, put a period there. That is a mistake. Why? Because of the word because. And if you try to put a period there, that's a mistake called a sentence fragment, which is a common mistake that students make, especially because of conjunctions. That's the most common way people make that mistake. So another thing I say about this is I say conjunctions their job is to connect things. So if the conjunction is not, I say if you put a period there, then that conjunction is not doing its job. So it's like it's a lazy conjunction. If I put a period there, this conjunction would be like, oh great, I get to take the day off, I don't have to connect anything, I'm just going to watch telenovelas, or I don't know. So, right, but no, we want the conjunctions to do their job. So for that reason, we want to put a comma instead of a period. But when you put a comma like that, you have the main clause or the independent clause over here, and this is called a subordinate less important. And also, anytime you see a subordinating conjunction, which is, remember, that's any conjunction except for fanboys is subordinating. If you see any of those, then that clause that has that in it is a subordinate clause, also called the dependent clause. Those are exactly the same thing, subordinate and dependent. And did I miss anything? Word families. Synonyms and word families. So word families, this is one of the cases where, I think because people thought there wasn't space on the card, and this is spelled the exact same way. It's a verb. It's kind of the same word, but it's listed as a word family. This is spelled the same way. So it's not subordinate. This one is pronounced subordinate. Everybody say subordinate.
Subordinate.
So I know it's spelled with an A, but it's pronounced. It sounds pronounced like an E. Subordinate. And net is like red. Net. Like a basketball net. Soccer net. Subordinate. Subordinate. But this one is pronounced the way it looks. Sí se pronuncia como se ve. So subordinate. But only that one, not this one. So it's only the verb is pronounced subordinate. This one is not. This is pronounced subordinate. Subordinate. So everybody say subordinate.
Subordinate.
So say net, yeah, subordinate. This is, I should have mentioned that earlier, but I'm glad I got it in the video. This is subordinate. And this is to make something less important, like an action. So you have something, like for example, with your two priorities, watching TV and doing homework, and like in the beginning you're doing both, but then you say, okay, now I have to do something. I have to make watching TV less important, because if I don't, I won't finish my homework. So you could say, I need to subordinate the TV to my homework. And then it's an action. And I think in Spanish, would that be subordinar? Maybe? Okay. All right, I think I covered everything. Let me know if there are any questions. Are there any questions?
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much.